Never worry again about sales tax with Davo by Avalara. From collecting to filing to paying, Davo works seamlessly with your POS, backed by a guarantee that your taxes will be paid on time and in full. You take care of the business, we'll take care of the sales tax.
All right, I'm sitting down with Lynette McKee, the Senior Vice President of Franchising for Potbelly. Lynette, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much for joining. So, Lynette, I really wanted to talk to you because you are a veteran of the franchise space. You have been a part of major food service companies. Now you've been with Potbelly for about 1 year. So to start, tell me a little bit about how your first year is going and the potential you see in Potbelly.
The first year has been great. Actually, June 5th will be my 1-year anniversary. And I joined the organization basically because I knew the CEO and had worked with him and the CEO previously. I knew their leadership style. I knew what they were going to do to pull together a great program for franchising for Potbelly. And I actually moved away from being an independent operator for many years and decided to move into. I wouldn't have done it for any other brand or any other leadership team.
Yeah, Potbelly occupies a really great space, too, in sandwiches right now, in that there's just a lot of potential, I think, for this brand. As you pursue franchise growth, what do you see franchisees being most interested in Potbelly? What's your kind of selling point for this brand?
You know, I think the first thing they see is really the leadership. That has been key for some of our major operators to come into the brand. Also, we have a lot of white space. It's very rare and we call ourselves a sandwich restaurant, not a sandwich shop, because we have a lot of other products we offer. And because of that, we have seen people that are looking to come into the sandwich space. There's a lot of brands that are taken, and so we provide a lot of opportunity for growth.
I'm curious about franchising in general right now, because we've all seen the numbers and how the first quarter went for a lot of companies. We know traffic is really struggling right now. But simultaneously, I think we all understand when inflation comes down, we could be due for an expansion boom, right? Because as capital becomes more affordable, you'll see more people want to get into franchising. That's my theory, but do you also see that potential is right on the horizon?
Yeah, you know, we see a lot of noise usually around this time, every 4-year cycle for the presidential cycle. It's a little bit slower. There's a dip in interest. We see it generally across the board. But then usually when the ball hits, people sort of decide, well, they're going to, no matter what the administration is or the structure, they get more active again. But I think from, an inflationary standpoint, real estate is a little more expensive. It's a little difficult to obtain right now. Franchisees are searching, far and wide to find good, appropriate spaces. So, but it happens. It's a cycle. Yeah. We see it all the time. We see it every few years, and it's something that you kind of learn how to manage through. And then the next thing you know, it sort of the cycle begins to clear itself out again.
Right. I remember, a decade ago, coming out of the recession, there was a lot of interest in franchising. And in fact, during the recession, and you saw an infusion of people who were, after that second career, looking for that new opportunity, have the American dream. Compare that to today. Who do you see as being the most interested in franchising opportunities?
Really, it's more around existing franchisees of non-competing brands. Now, on a smaller scale, with smaller franchisors, you will see a lot of the single-unit operators that will come in, and that sort of sets their career on a path. So they may start with one, and then over a period of years, they may grow to 10, 15, or 20. But in today's world, we're seeing more of the operators that understand how to develop. They understand the complexity of things. So it's a little bit challenging for the single unit operators to come in because they have such a big learning curve that, they're maybe negotiating leases for the first time. They've never had a staff. Maybe they've never dealt with a commercial lender. All the things that come into play. So they're not only learning how to run that business, they're learning how to just run a restaurant in itself. So it makes it a little bit difficult, but like I said, we see side deals come and go all the time, and I've been doing this long enough that I just, I kind of knew as we were going into this year, we would see a cycle, and then again, in a few months, it'll work itself out of it.
Sure. All right, so your resume includes stops with Burger King, Dunkin', Checkers, Rallies. You've been with some major brands.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the lessons you've pulled from those companies that you're bringing with you, and you were also, your own boss for a while there.
Yeah.
What were some of the lessons you brought with you to Potbelly? What do you add to this brand specifically?
It's interesting because I think bringing systems into place, and not only, the brand has a lot of good systems operationally, but when you look at the recruitment side of the equation, it's really about where are we going to grow? Who are we growing with? What do we want their profiles to be? Financials and operational. How do we get them through the process? What's the due diligence? And, my key is I want to make sure that everybody on my team, when they wake up every day, they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And it just makes life a lot easier for everybody. And, I've always sort of been that way anyway. I came from the teaching background many years ago. And I think systems and processes have been my kind of my go-to. And then strategy-wise, too, have a plan, have a written plan, and help everybody know how to execute it.
Sure. All right, so for the balance of 2024, what's the thing you're most excited about for Potbelly? Where do you see this going in this next 6 months to a year?
Since I've joined the brand, and, back several years ago, I actually worked in Chicago, and the CEO did not know that I ate in the Potbellies 2-3 times a week for about 2 years.
Yeah.
But the excitement, no matter where we go across the country, people are going, oh, I love the brand. I love Potbelly. They tell me the sandwiches that they love. What's their favorite? And so just seeing the excitement around the brand has really energized all of us, because we feel like that we are going to be one of the, shining stars from a brand perspective in the next few years.
It's exciting to watch. Lynette McKee, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Never worry again about sales tax with Davo by Avalara. From collecting to filing to paying, Davo works seamlessly with your POS, backed by a guarantee that your taxes will be paid on time and in full. You take care of the business, we'll take care of the sales tax.